Hello everyone and welcome to Yoshi 1 Kenobi's Niko Aris Blink, the Blink deck that aims to play Niko Aris, the new planeswalker from Kaldheim. So let's start with this planeswalker. When it enters the battlefield, create X shard tokens. A shard token is an enchantment that says pay 2, sacrifice this, scry 1, then draw a card. So basically it's a 2 mana opt enchantment token, which is okay. And that's why Nico has an X in its mana cost, so if you can sink all your mana into Nico and have a whole bunch of draw spells for later on in the game. Now Nico is fairly weak in terms of loyalty, so only 3 to begin with. The +1 gives one of your creatures unblockable, and when that creature deals damage, it returns to its owner's hand. So you basically use this to bounce your creature back into your hand for future use, and that's one of the main abilities that will make use in this Flicker deck or Blink deck. Then we use Nico's -1 to deal 2 damage to target tapped creature for each card you've drawn this turn, and the idea is you play the shard tokens, and then you get to sack a shard token, which will draw you the second card in the turn, and then you get to deal 4 damage to a tapped creature your opponent controls. So it's the removal effect on Nico, and then a -1 to create a shard token. Now that's a weak ultimate. Okay, it's not really an ultimate, it just allows you to get more value out of Nico. So how are we going to make use of that planeswalker? Well, first of all, we're playing a Blink deck, so we're playing a lot of cards with good enter the battlefield abilities, like Skyclave Apparition, which exiles anything your opponent has that costs 4 or less. Barrin, which bounces creatures that your opponent has. Brazen Borrower, well, that one's tricky. So that one, when you bounce it, it doesn't really get the enter the battlefield ability, but you can play the Petty Theft to bounce something your opponent controls, flash it into play, activate Nico's ability to bounce Brazen Borrower into your hand after it's attacked, and then you get to Petty Theft again, and the cycle continues. So that's something that's non-blink, but prone to Nico's +1 ability. Then we play Niambi, Esteemed Speaker, which allows us to bounce a creature back into our hand to defend it. Kind of the same thing as Nico. Then we play Charming Prince, which allows us to exile a creature, return it to the battlefield to trigger that enter the battlefield ability. And one reason we're playing these things is for Glorious Protector, the protection from board wipes that allows you to exile all the creatures you want that are non-angels until it leaves the battlefield. Well, with an effect like Niambi or Niko Aris, you get to bounce it back to your hand, which means your other creatures suddenly enter the battlefield, triggering their enter the battlefield ability on the spot, and you still have the Glorious Protector for a future Glorious Protection turn. We're also playing the one of Thassa, Deep Dwelling, the classic in Flicker decks, where we basically just want to keep on using Skyclave Apparition and Barrin to, well, decimate our opponent's board mostly. Then we're playing 4 Archons of Sungrace, and this is one of the key cards that synergizes with Niko Aris. Because of the constellation triggers, whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under our control, we create a 2/2 Pegasus. Well, guess what? These shard tokens are enchantments, so whatever X is on Nico, you get a 2/2 Pegasus out of it for your Archons of Sungrace. And that can lead to a ton of Pegasi. Then, to round up our list, we're playing 4 Berta Meletus to prevent early aggression, synergize with our Archon, and 3 Elspeth Conquers Death. Same thing. Also, we get to bring back an Archon from the graveyard, or a Niko Aris from the graveyard if it has died, or pretty much anything else in our deck. That's what Elspeth Conquers Death does. And to finish off our list, we're playing 3 Jawari Disruptions. One of the main reasons for it is because with 3 Brazen Borrowers and 3 Jawari Disruptions, we actually have a chance of beating those pesky Tybalt's deck. And so Tybalt's Trickery pulls in an Ugin on turn 2 on the battlefield. We Brazen Borrower bounce it back, or we Jawari Disruption the Tybalt's Trickery. And I really want to have a video like that to post, but it depends on if I get the matchup or not. Well, with that, we have this awesome list, lots of linking, lots of Pegasi. So let's see this list into action with some games. We are playing Nico Blink on MTG Arena Standard against Yorion King. Opponent's playing rogues or mono white. Hand's not the best against it, mostly because Elspeth Conquers Death hits nothing against rogues, but we'll keep it anyways. It's otherwise decent. Rogues it is. At least Skyclave Apparition is really good against rogues. Nothing like exiling annoying cheap drops and changing them into 1/1s or 2/2s with no abilities. Playing rogues is like eating a box of, well, not chocolate. Chocolates are actually good to eat. It's like eating a box of vegetables. You never know when they're going to flash in your face, but you know you're not going to like it that much. Soaring Thought Thief. Let the milling war begin. It's not really a war, it's pretty one-sided. Drown won't counter it. You need to flash in another critter before you drown. Alright. Then we'll take your annoying 1/3 and change it into a 2/2 without flying and without abilities. That is, if you get rid of the Skyclave Apparition before we play the Blink Dance. Alright. So if I attack with the Skyclave Apparition, what's the worst that can get blinked in my face? A pair of Soaring Thought Thieves would be bad. There's already one in the exile, so it's unlikely your opponent has another one. Well, it's unlikely their opponent has 2 more. And if our opponent has the Guild Enforcer and a Thought Thief, that's just 7. So we'd still be fine. How about we play an Archon? Archon of Sun's Grace. Just a little over the amount of cards in our graveyard. Guild Enforcer Drown? Sounds right. Well, we got the Drown out. One of them, that is. Luris. Okay. That's interesting. 6. Let's attack with the Skyclave Apparition. Playing Nico is interesting here. I can Nico for 2. Then the opponent... Well, the opponent can cast Luris and do absolutely nothing with it. So I guess we just play Nico. Negate, okay. Glad to see this out on the Nico and not on the Elspeth Conquers Death, which is ultimately going to revive said Nico. Alright, Wind Robber. Wind Robber, sack, Luris, Wind Robber. It's a good line. Good line indeed. That thing has Death Touch. That's okay, I don't really have many uses for my wall. Not against rogues, everything has Flying or Death Touch. And we cleanly Elspeth Conquers Death. Uh-oh. Sack the Wind Robber? Yeah, the opponent forgot to main phase sack the Wind Robber. Ouch. There's no point in attacking. We really needed that Elspeth Conquers Death to resolve. If only we had one more mana for a Jawari Disruption. Our opponent draws, puts back the Wind Robber, mills us. Now I have to get rid of that Lurrus. Absolutely. Well, that's convenient. Let's get rid of the Lurrus then. I probably should have taken the time to play the Jawari Disruption as a land tap. So I guess the Jawari Ruins. His opponent has so many lands, it's not gonna matter. We get milled. So the plan is Pegasus Mega Nico. Land. And the turn. And I hope our opponent doesn't have another counter spell. I mean, there's 2 drowns and a negate. Come on, play the card. Play the card. I'm not sure what rogues plays main phase. That's not a rune grab. Aghadeem's Awakening for 1. Because we've exiled everything. Opponent draws. Opponent's thinking about it. And we will bring back an Archon of Sun's Grace. And now, we get to Nico for 6. And you know what's nice about Nico for 6? That it creates 6 enchantments on the battlefield. Then yes, that's 6 Pegasi. How about we make another one? You can never have too many Pegasuses. These guys. Flying horses. Yes, let's stick with that. Opponent into the stories. If I'm going to be using words like that, then I probably shouldn't be worrying about whether it's Pegasuses or Pegasi. I'll have to Google it. Let's take a look while we're waiting for our opponent. Bloodchief's Thirst. Getting rid of the Master Pegasus. The correct Greek plural of Pegasus is Pegasides. Horses it is. So we have 14 flying in the air. Let's give our Skyclave Apparition unblockable, and that'll be a flat 16. And we gain life, not that it matters, as we destroy rogues with the Nico Pegasus combo. We are playing Nico Blink on MTG Arena Standard against Adamska. Yeah, that's fun. We have a Bird of Meletus to ensure we hit our 3rd land. Sorry, Barrin. We'll be short our 2nd blue. Hopefully we won't need the 2nd blue. Actually, what am I saying? Of course we'll need it. We want to use it to cast Niko Aris. Planeswalker Extraordinaire. Key card of this deck. I guess we can foretell this. The opponent will never see it coming. Probably expecting a Doomscar. And so you should. We're not playing Doomscars. We are playing Skyclave Apparitions. And looking at my hand now, a ton of them. Maybe a ton and a half. Although I guess they're ghosts, so they probably don't weigh that much. Comes down to the same thing. So we have an Archon here. Archon's interesting, but let's get rid of the Love Strike Beast. Make sure opponent has no angle of attack. Nothing good to Embercleave. That's what we're going for. Embercleave tends to make people lose, and other people's win. Typically the ones playing the Embercleave. Because on to Mammoth. I wonder what's gonna happen to the Mammoth. Actually, let's play this in the right order. Vertimelitas first. Grabbing a plains. Playing said plains for another apparition. Now we need to pick the right text. I think we somehow got turned around. No, that's not the right text. I need to memorize those so that I can pick the right one for the right situation. Or I guess I could always go for the emotes. I mean, dancing electric guy never goes wrong. So the opponent's holding back on a ton of mana. This is something which we want. Let's go Barrin. Bounce a token. And hit you. Okay, that's the plan. I regret my decision. I really should have thought this through. Well, probably an Embercleave. The probabilities were overwhelming. Although we are significantly ahead. So let's take the opportunity to cast Thassa. Yeah, sure. No. I'm afraid now. Although the opponent would have cast it last turn. It's blinking time. I don't like that Embercleave token. I'll force you to pay the mana to equip it again. Not that that's a problem, considering the amount of mana our opponent has, but we're slowly getting rid of the tokens. Brushfire Elemental. Ugh! Fabled Passage. Brushfire Elemental. Oh, block the token. And we'll take 12? Am I reading this right? We're taking 12 out of this? Yeah, we are in trouble. I don't want to do this, but I think I got a Nico. I have to Nico and burn the Brushfire Elemental. I'll keep the Glorious Protector up. So we have something to block in case our opponent pulls out another Brushfire Elemental. 2 damage target tap creature. Goodbye, Brushfire Elemental. Then we're gonna attack with everything. And then we're going to kill the token. Because that's what we do. And pass a turn. No, I think, yeah. Alright. And that is enough blinkage to take down our opponent. With Nico doing a lot of work. Well, mostly painting down that creature that would have killed us, but still, doing work. We are playing Nico Blink on MTG Arena Standard against Dracoplasma. That's pretty cool. I like that name. And we'll go first, because we have some bouncers and Bounce Master Thassa. The Deep Dwelling. Oh no. Opponent mulliganed. And we don't have what it takes to deal with a Tibble deck. Come on, Brazen Borrower. Yes! Brazen Borrower. Are you actually a Tibble deck? Mountain. Not a Tibble deck at all. It's actually mono red. Scry again. Charming Prince. I'd prefer land. Alright. Hitting us with the 1/1. You're not holding back a Bone Crusher Giant, are you? Let's go for blue. Yeah, opponent has a Bone Crusher Giant. So I'll just pass a turn. I don't really want to run the Skyclave Apparition into it. Also, since we're Azorius colors, our opponent's going to think we're playing some kind of control shell with only counter spells. That's good. Bone Crushing, well wasted. Well, I'm not sure if our opponent's been drinking or not, in which case it would be Bone Crusher while wasted, but whichever. We'll take one for the Fervent Champion. Opponent will cast said Bone Crusher Giant. I'm not sure if we want to Brazen Borrower it. Kind of gets us back to that same Skyclave Apparition is gonna die position. I don't know. I think it might have been the right move to just bounce it with Brazen Borrower and get the tempo swing, or maybe even land Thassa. We will never know. Alright. Thorbrand. Welcome, Thorbrand. That is nice. But I would really like to land my Thassa. So I'm going to Pity Theft the Thorbrand. Attack with the Skyclave Apparition. Get our aggro going. The idea is I want to bounce back the Thorbrand on this turn using the second Brazen Borrower, which will give me the tempo to play Thassa. Get rid of Fervent Champion. And then the opponent is going to be hard pressed. Just playing Thorbrand on turn 6 will be fairly weak. So I guess I could have tried to ambush with the Skyclave Apparition. If the opponent has a Rimrock Knight, then my tempo play doesn't work. And that's exactly how we drew it up. And that thing is blue, so you're not going to get the bonus Thorbrand effect. And then we have the wonderful Barrin and Skyclave Apparition duo, which we'll use to bounce our opponent's stuff back and forth, back and forth. Well, send it away, make it a token, and then bounce a token away. Which we're at 11. Which is reasonable, but Mono-Red has been known to play some dragons these turns. Also, we're taking 3 out of this. Which, of course, I have no intention of blocking. Okay. We'll take 8 out of it. Does the opponent have Torbrand Bone Crusher? I wonder. Matters not. We're gonna bounce that. What could our opponent have? So Fervent Champion equips Embercleave. Have to chump with Barrin. That's okay. No. Another Castle Ambret. Phoenix of Ash. That'll be game. Nothing I can do against a flyer. Which is too bad. We got close. We got close. It's always Embercleave. I hope you've enjoyed the game so far, but there's one more game with the Nico deck that I've played. But that game is just too epic, and I had to make a whole video just for that game. Also lasts for 45 minutes, you'll get 13 Croxas, 2 Tybalts, an opponent playing Rakdos who steals a Thassa, and so much more awesomeness. So go ahead and watch that epic game. It's going to be in the link in the description below. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe. It won't cost you any mana, and it greatly helps to support this channel and keep the awesome videos coming. Until next time, may the fun be with you.